Hello. As of recording this, the 2025 Pokemon World Championship starts tomorrow in Anaheim, California. Before that begins, I was wanting to take a look at all of the teams that have been doing well over the double restricted format of Regulation I, just to kind of get an idea of what I think is going to do well at the World Championship, and to let all of you know what I think will do well at the World Championship. So if we go back to the Utrecht VGC special event from May, a lot of different teams done really well at this tournament. Michael Kelsch ended up winning it with Miraidon and the iconic at this point Leech Seed Calyrex Ice Rider. This is a team that I think will do really well at the World Championship. Maybe not the exact core. Like, I don't know if Landorus will remain on the team, but I do think the combination of Miraidon, Ice Rider, and Screen Grimmsnarl with Incineroar to support is going to do well at the World Championship. I just don't see a way around it. And even just not even just like a generic option, but a safe option in the Zamazenta Calyrex Shadow Rider. This team has been doing so well, even if Life Orb has fallen off a little bit in recent months, getting replaced by the Sash variant. I still think that Life Orb, Spooky Plate, those kind of items are going to maintain relevancy going into this, just for the ability to the extra damage. Is a lot of Calyrex Shadows now, you know how much damage they're going to do, and at least if you're me, you don't really have the same respect that you did. And if we go down a little, Ho-Oh, the Ho-Oh Miraidon teams, I think are going to see a rise. Miraidon is still one of the best mons in the entire format, and Ho-Oh has such a good matchup into the Calyrex Shadow Rider Zamazenta stuff. With Ho-Oh's high natural special defense, along with pretty good typing, it resists everything that Zamazenta wants to do. And Calyrex Shadow Rider just can't break it because of its special defense. A lot of my money on winning the whole format is going to be Miraidon plus second bulky restricted. And I think Ho-Oh has as good of a chance as any of them do to do so. We have the Kyogre Zacian teams, which I still think are really good. The Roaring Moon variant, I think, is the most prevalent, but I have saw some of the Tornadus variants picking up again, and I would probably lead towards the Tornadus variant being what I would play. Yeah, just like this one right here, where it's the Tornadus with Kyogre, and then we even have, the Queenly Majesty Serena, which has slightly fallen off, but is still just as good as it ever was. So now if we go to the Portland Regional, Gavin Michaels won that with, again, the Leech Seed Calyrex Ice Rider. But this one is the Mystic Water Kyogre, and again, screens and just general annoyance. And Zhe hmm, Zhang won it with a fairly standard Sun team, except this one had, Weezing with Ability Shield. A Pokemon that I suspect we'll see a lot of going into the World Championship is Raging Bolt on this style of Calyrex Shadow Rider Zamazenta team. Chien-Pao, I honestly believe, is one of the best mons in the entire format for this style of team. Even though I don't see the move prevalent on this, the idea of like Ruination Chin Pao, dropping taunt, running Ruination for just chunking everything to 50% so that Shadow Rider can pick it up with Astral Barrage or Zamazenta can pick it up with Body Press. I also think that stuff like Dozo will see quite a bit of usage at Worlds. Is like this team has just put in so much work over the honestly the entire format at this point, where you stack up the toxic spikes and just poison everything and just position Wheezing and Koraidon or Calyrex, and then let Dozo clean up the back. And now we are going to move to the special event from May 31st to June 1st. This one was also run. This whole tournament was just dominated by Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Zamazenta. This was honestly the most dominant showing that the team had because it got first and second place. You know, it was the nasty plot setup Calyrex Shadow Rider up against the Encore Calyrex Shadow Rider. I think the Encore variant has been underexplored for this format, and I can see it winning the World Championship. Because I mean, it was what was that? First, second, third, fourth, and seventh were all almost the exact same team. And now we're going to look at the North American internets, where to me this is going to be some of the most prevalent showing of what will do well. This team is the one that won in AIC with the Electric Seed Lunala and the Choice Specs Miraidon, and even AV Ensign instead of the more common uh, Rocky Helmet or Safety Goggles. This team is just so good at putting on nonstop pressure, either from the fast side with the help of Whimsicott and Miraidon and Lunala and Urshifu, to even the slow side with just pairing Lunala and Miraidon and with Ensign and Ursaluna or even Rapid Strikes. Since this is notably banded and not Scarf or Sash, so it tends to be a little bit slower and bulkier. This team is going to put in a lot of work. And then Marco Silva came in second with more Calyrex Shadow Rider and Zamazenta. Third was, again, Leech Seed Ice Rider with the Choice Specs Miraidon. Fairly similar to the other team that we saw with the same lineup, but it was still an extremely dominant showing and proving why it deserves to be in third place. Eric Rios brought a really difficult team to pilot, in my opinion, where it was, Tilmask Ogerpon instead of one of the more common three, along with the Scarf Miraidon with Snarl and all that instead of being Spect. Volcarona with Terra Grass and Giga Drain that really benefited from Rillaboom's grassy terrain, but slightly conflicted with Miraidon's electric terrain. This team was very interesting, but the whole balance of having to play both terrains makes it, I believe, unreliable to win the World Championship. And then we have like a more unique team, where this was Electric Seed Calm Mind Terapagos with Assault Vest Miraidon, with the more standard Scarf Ursh and Rocky Helmet Ensign. But it also had Sinistra to heal the two restricted on swap in, and Iron Treads to just threaten Rillaboom, opposing Miraidon, anything else you could think of. This was a really cool team. It was Shadow Riders on Magenta with Booster Bolt, but it was Decorate, S'more, Follow Me, Fake Out, Smeargle, and this was a more offensive Tornadus with Bleak Windstorm and Sharpbeak to just do huge damage to all the grass types of the format. Then we had Gabriel Agati, where he had Leech Seed, Shadow Rider, and Clear Amulet Koraidon. This team had some really interesting games at NAIC, where behind a substitute, the Leech Seed on Calyrex could just go crazy, especially since it was Terra Normal and it could, terrestrialize out of being hit super effective by opposing Shadow Rider. And also the fact you could use Screamtail to Encore and disable Pokemon, so Shadow Rider could Leech Seed and get going even easier. And one of the last teams I want to talk about at NAIC is this one, where it's a Assault Vest Miraidon and the leftovers Leech Seed Ice Rider. But it was also Unburden, Electric Seed Sneasler with Acid Spray and Dire Claw, just to make it so Miraidon can do way more damage. It can fake out, roll for sleep, or anything like that. It also had Ditto. And I think Ditto is not necessarily getting stronger, but just the fact that we have double restricted, and you're more likely, in my opinion, to have restricteds in this format that get stat boosts. And that's what Ditto really likes to see. This is the VGC Paste repository. It's going to have a lot of teams that have done well in online tournaments, and some down here even from NAIC and bigger events. So just here in the last, July 27th, just a few weeks ago now, in the Road to Anaheim VR event, it was won by none other than Life Orb Miraidon with Electric Seed Sneasler and Zamazenta Crowned. This team was really interesting to me, and I think it could do really well. Just like Iron Bundle, being able to Icy Wind and Encore and Freeze Dry and just be a nuisance is really strong in this format, and not something that many teams can handle. Some of the other ones that I thought were really cool was like, Marco Silva is still running the same team that he's been running, except notably, he is playing with Assault Vest Chien-Pao, dropping the Sash to go on Shadow Rider, and is running Ruination. I brought that up earlier since it can take every Mon the half if it hits. So it's hitting, and then Zamazenta Crown's picking up big, like 50% hits with Body Press or Heavy Slam to finish out the Mon that it's hitting. A few other teams that I think are kind of cool on here is this one was like it did not like openly do well. It was like a Twitter team, but it was really cool to me where it's mixed Rayquaza. Since Rayquaza has like really high attack and special attack, it is 150 150. So it's able to really benefit from being able to extreme speed and dragon ascent for a really strong priority move and flying move, but it really doesn't have a good physical dragon attack. So being able to run both physical and special allows it to use Draco Meteor, which is really good. And it was also banded Tinglu, which I think was really funny. a couple teams I think are really good is this was Covert Cloak Miraidon and Clear Amulet Ho-Oh, doing exactly what I was talking about, where the Miraidon is just there to do all the damage, and the Ho-Oh is there to eat hits and to kind of fix the trouble matchups with stuff like the Shadow Rider Zamazenta team, where that duo really could just not break Ho-Oh. Because Ho-Oh resists the body press and has such high special defense, and using Sacred Fire has a really high chance of burning Zamazenta. Rapid Strike is just good. There's another Chin Pao, notably not Ruination. And then Eviolite Clefairy for redirection and support, and Iron Treads to just absolutely just stomp on terrain teams. And this one is another Life Orb Miraidon. No, no, I already showed this team. That's my bad. There's a few other teams. Yeah. As you can see, these right here are all of the Road to Anaheim teams. And a lot of them are running similar mons. It's a lot of Calyrex Shadow Rider and Calyrex Ice Rider, with a few exceptions. A notable one was this was Specs Miraidon, another Electric Seed Lunala. And this, even though I already showed one, is a really just hyper consistent team. But alright. I just wanted to get this out there before the world started tomorrow. And once Worlds ends, I'm gonna make a video like recapping and seeing what I think. Like comparing what won to what I think would win. My money is still on Miraidon paired with either like Kyogre or Ho-Oh or something along those lines. But we'll have to wait and see. I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you after Worlds.